I knew she was gone before the door even closed. Not just physically gone, emotionally, spiritually, everything. Her eyes didn't look back. No trembling lips. No second guesses. She simply said, "I deserve to be happy." Then turned the knob like she'd practiced it. Like she'd rehearsed how to leave without making a mess. The door didn't slam. It clicked shut. Soft. Almost polite. And somehow that hurt worse. I stood in the middle of the living room, still holding my coffee, the one I made for both of us. Hers was still steaming on the counter. She didn't even take it. The silence came first. Thick, suffocating silence. Not the kind that's peaceful. The kind that rings in your ears like something inside you just cracked. I spent that first hour pacing. No tears. Not yet. Just disbelief. I checked my phone. No messages. I called her once. It rang twice and went to voicemail. I didn't leave one. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the fan spinning slow and steady like it didn't care the world had ended. Her pillow still smelled like her shampoo, lavender, and something I could never quite name. I turned away from it, then turned back. The next morning, I sat on the edge of the bed for a full 30 minutes. Just sat there, breathing, not moving, trying to figure out how to start a day in a house that didn't have her in it anymore. I made coffee again. 2 cups, out of habit. I poured the second one down the sink and watched it swirl away like something alive, like memory itself washing out of my hands. I tried texting her on day 2. Just a simple, "Are you okay?" No reply. I didn't tell anyone. Not yet. I didn't want the pity, the questions, the looks. I didn't want to explain something I didn't understand myself. That was there a fight. No. Did we grow apart? Maybe. Did I see it coming? Not like this. She wasn't cruel. That's what made it worse. She didn't yell. She didn't accuse. She just laughed. And her calmness felt like violence. By day 3, the house began to feel haunted. Not by ghosts, but by her absence. Her laugh used to echo through the hallway when she called her sister. Now it was just the fridge humming, the ticking of the old wall clock, the occasional creak of a settling beam. I walked past our wedding photo and turned it face down. I couldn't look at it anymore. Not yet. On the 4th night, I stood outside our bedroom door with my hand on the knob, frozen. It had never felt like a border before. It was just our room. Now it felt like walking into a memory I hadn't earned the right to visit. I lay down again, on my side this time. The side I never used because it was hers. But I needed the smell. I needed to feel like she'd been real. That I hadn't just imagined the 7 years we'd built together. I almost called her again. Almost. But I didn't. I didn't want to be that guy. The one who begged. Who reached for someone already gone. Instead, I wrote something in a notebook. You can't beg someone to stay without losing pieces of yourself. It wasn't poetry. It wasn't wise. It was just true. By the end of the week, the silence wasn't suffocating anymore. It was just heavy, like a coat you forget you're wearing. People say heartbreak comes with thunder, but mine came with a whisper, a click of a door, a steaming cup of coffee left untouched, and a woman who didn't cry when she left. She just said she wanted to be happy, and she didn't think I could help her get there. I stopped counting the days after 10. They all bled together anyway. Quiet mornings, longer nights, the same rituals that used to mean something when there were 2 of us. Now everything just echoed. Her coffee mug sat untouched on the second shelf. I couldn't bring myself to wash it, like scrubbing it clean would make the loss permanent. The house grieved in its own way. Her hair tie on the bathroom sink, the half-used bottle of perfume she forgot to pack, the closet with all the hangers leaning to one side, where her clothes used to be. I would catch myself reaching for something she'd put away, her favorite playlist on the speaker, her blanket on the couch, and freeze when I remembered she wasn't coming back to finish the moment. I tried distracting myself, took walks around the neighborhood, watched reruns of shows I never liked, even went to the grocery store just to be around voices that didn't know me. But everything I touched reminded me of her. The ice cream she loved, the wine she'd buy when she was proud of herself, a new shade of lipstick I found in the medicine cabinet. Unused, still sealed. And then it happened. I was organizing the drawers in our bedroom, trying to declutter her out of my life without admitting that's what I was doing. That's when I found it in an old notebook, the one she used to write in during her creative phases. I opened it out of curiosity. What I saw didn't feel like a punch. It felt like a needle, slow, precise, Unrelenting. Pages of letters. To someone else. Not me. His name was Alex. He was electric. Alive. He made her feel things she thought were gone. I read every page like I was bleeding through my eyes. She didn't leave because she stopped loving me. She left because she loved someone else. I dropped the notebook on the floor and backed away, like it was something toxic. In a way, it was. It rewrote everything. Our dinners, our walks, the night we celebrated our anniversary just 3 months before. She had been gone long before she left. The betrayal didn't scream. It whispered. She had carried on like we were still okay while letting someone else occupy her heart. I had been sleeping beside a woman who already belonged to another man. I wanted to scream, break something, throw that damn notebook out the window. But I did in single quotes T. Instead. I sat on the floor for a long time, cross-legged like a kid in timeout, trying to remember how it felt to be enough. I texted her that night. Just 2 words. I know. She didn't reply. The next morning, I woke up to a new silence. Not haunted, not heavy, just quiet. And somehow, that made the betrayal feel more real, like it had finally settled into the bones of the house. I didn't tell anyone still, not even my brother, who kept calling to ask if I was okay. What was I supposed to say? She left me for someone who made her feel alive while I was just keeping the lights on? I stopped answering his calls. I didn't want comfort. I wanted clarity. And then, days later, it came in the most pathetic form possible. A text message from an unknown number. Hey man, no hard feelings. Hope we can all move on like adults. No name. But I didn't need one. It was him. Alex, the man who thought wrecking a marriage was just a phase. I stared at the screen, hands shaking not from fear, but from pure disbelief. His arrogance was so thick, it felt like a second betrayal. He broke my life and wanted to keep things civil. My chest burned. My throat tightened. I almost responded. But I didn't, because the moment I gave him my voice, he'd win again. So I did nothing. I just deleted the message and sat in the silence that followed. And in that silence, something started to shift. Not healing. Not yet. But a kind of resolve. I wasn't ready to fight, but I was done being numb. It was past midnight when my phone rang again. I almost didn't answer. I assumed it was my brother, calling after another ignored message. But the number wasn't familiar. It wasn't local either. I let it ring until the last second, then picked up out of reflex. Hello? Silence. Then a shaky breath. Mark. Yes. A pause. I'm Emily. I'm his wife. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. My fingers tightened around the phone like it might vanish. I'm sorry to call like this, she said, her voice trembling. I didn't know who else to reach out to. I found your number in his messages. You need to know he's done this before. My mouth went dry. She went on. You're not the only one, Mark. You weren't even the first. Or the second. The world tilted a little. She told me everything, how Alex had done the same thing to 2 other women before mine. All married. All convinced they were special. All discarded once they started asking for permanence. He left me last week, she said. Told me I was suffocating him. That he needed space to explore truth. He said the same thing to the woman before me. Word for word. I sat on the edge of the couch, eyes fixed on the floor, listening to a stranger echo my pain. Emily emailed me screenshots later that night. Messages, photos, voice memos. My wife had fallen into a carefully crafted trap just like the others. He said the same things. You make me feel seen. You're the only real one. Your husband doesn't appreciate you. The same seduction. The same script. At first, it made me sick. Then it made me still. This wasn't about me not being enough. It wasn't about her finding a soulmate. It was about him playing a game. And her choosing to play along. The next 2 days passed in a blur. I didn't reply to Emily again. I didn't need to. She'd said what mattered. She gave me something no one else could, perspective. And then came the knock. Late afternoon. Same door she'd left through. I opened it and there she stood, my ex-wife. The woman who once held my heart like something sacred. Now standing in front of me looking like a child who'd lost her way. Her eyes were swollen. Her voice soft. I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. She stepped inside without asking, shoulders slumped. I didn't know he was like that. I thought her voice broke. He left me too, for someone new, just like that. I nodded slowly. I was stupid, she whispered. I thought it was love. I thought he saw something in me. Still, I said nothing. I don't expect you to forgive me, she added. But I had to tell you, I was wrong. About everything. We sat at the kitchen table, the same one we used to laugh over, eat over, argue over. I ruined everything, she said. No, I finally replied. He ruined a lot of lives, but you chose to let him. She flinched but didn't disagree. I miss you, she said quietly. I didn't answer that. She reached for my hand. I let her fingers rest there for a moment. Then I gently pulled mine away. She looked down. Why weren't you enough for me? The words fell like a stone in the room. I breathed slowly before answering. I was. You just didn't know who you were. Tears rolled down her cheeks, silent and honest. For the first time, I didn't feel anger, just finality. I forgive you, I said. But that doesn't mean we start over. She nodded. I know. She left again that evening. Same door, same soft click. But this time, I wasn't hollow. That night, I made 1 cup of coffee. I opened all the curtains. I stood barefoot in the living room, bathed in the golden hush of morning light. There was no thunder, no storm, just the quiet after something terrible passes. And for the first time in weeks, I felt clean. Empty. Yes, but in a way that made room for something new.